listening? Damn. Yeah.
What's good, everyone? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's having a great Monday morning. So topic specific. We've been doing a lot of live streams and talking about a little bit of everything. But we haven't had, I feel like, a topic specific our live stream. So I decided to start the Monday off with doing that. And I need to get into a groove of what I'm going to do when it comes to that. Mondays open up a specific, and then the rest of the week it is what it is. And then also with videos that I got to work on. Like I have a video I have to work on ASAP. As a matter of fact, well, SD cards in the bag. But so we are going to talk about today about should you wait a year before adding corals to an aquarium? And as we wait for people's notifications to come in, let me see. All right. Just kind of want to go through some things and see how that works out. But yeah. Working it, yeah. But so that's kind of where we're at. I'm thinking about doing today, talking about that and see how that goes. All right. Anyway, how's it going, everyone? As you guys slowly try to trickle in here. All right. Now I'm just looking at something. Anyway, how's it going? So, do you have to wait, or should you wait a year before adding corals? Back in the day with 30 days, or you hear recently some of the old school stuff comes back about coralline algae. Waiting until you see coralline algae. That to me is better when it comes to SPS situation, the coralline algae part. But at the same time, it really depends. Well, what do you mean, Rico? It depends. All right. What are you talking about here, bud? Okay, let me help you guys out. So, do you have to wait at all when it comes to adding corals to a reef aquarium? This is on record, by the way, just so you know that this video will be left up so you guys can, have at it and have fun. Do you have to wait? The answer is no. You don't have to wait. Obviously, if you are using dry rock, it's a process, depends on what you're doing, how you're doing it. Can you cycle a tank with fish instead of products? Yes, you can. We used to do it. For those that people think that, that's cruel and unusual punishment and blah, 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 blah. You're not a fish. You have no idea. Just like me. Okay. What is actually happening? Fish produce what? Ammonia. What do you add to an aquarium to, cycle your aquarium? Nowadays, most people are using ammonia. Fish are producing it in small amounts. So what does that mean? That It means to me that you can cycle an aquarium just fine with fish as well. Depending on, how many you're doing at one time and whatever. You can do it at a slow process and be fine. You can also do corals to cycle your aquarium. Corals don't have to worry so much about the being gills burnt and stuff like that. Corals are as far as they don't have blood, they don't have hemoglobin, they don't have whatever. Corals can cycle your aquarium as well. They produce waste, and they produce waste as a food source, and you can get away with throwing corals all in a tank. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to fight these theories and this whatever. These are the same people that don't, they've been trained and conformed into believing everything that they hear from somewhere, somebody. People are going to be conformed and believe everything that I say. The only difference is I don't really speak about stuff that I feel that is utterly BS. Okay. So I'm trying to keep it professional. You got that? At the end of the day, corals can do the same thing. And it's a slow process. You can add actual live rock to an aquarium. You guys, I haven't put out a video. A lot of you guys already know that I set up my little water box 15 mini peninsula. And yes, there's coral in it and there's whatever. This aquarium is getting minute, a little bit of something just to keep the fish, get something in their bellies. But they're there producing ammonia. The corals are producing waste. I put a little bit of straight ocean from the ocean rock that came in on a shipment. A couple little pieces in there. I've already got anthropods, isopods, copepods, or whatever. I've seen a little bit of everything in there, right? Just all we're adding that and a sponge and all that cool stuff. I want people to understand that, hey, you do what you think is comfortable for you. Here's the thing. What really hurts like corals, and I say like mainly SPS. Now, SPS is a different type of, it's a different animal, right? Nitrate is where you're going to see a problem. It ain't going to really necessarily kill the coral, but it will brown the hell out of a coral, okay? When you see spikes of that happening, okay? When you add a 3-inch fish to a 15 gallons or 12 gallons of water, let's just say an inch and a half in total, inch and a half fish, just say 1.5 inch fish to 12 gallons of water. Do you think you're going to see a nitrogen cycle? To me, it's a balancing act. I think you can the aquarium's going to be fine. I think you can set up an aquarium. You can have an instant reef tank. And what I mean by that is, you can put a bunch of corals in, kind of hold off on the SPS, I feel. But other your softies and mushrooms and some LPS and whatever else you want, you can get away with this. You can get away with it. You see it time. If you ever watched an importer bringing in new corals for the very first time, same thing. Why? Well, a lot of these things are attached to rocks from the ocean as well. So that's helping and bringing in biodiversity and all this other stuff. Now, if you guys don't believe me, just go do some more research. Go do some more research. Go comb through things like you should anyway. Don't take my word for this. Go try to hear what other people may have to say. I know The majority is already conformed in a certain type of way of doing things. That's the problem with this hobby. Everybody, if people like you, they jump on the bandwagon, and you're the holy goal of standards when it comes to reef aquariums. Trust me, people try to put me on that label. I jump off that label. I'm not a master. I'm working on my master's jacket, but not a master. So, yeah, corals, you can do, regular, dry rock, whatever. If you did all live rock, you're good as gold. I've said this earlier on a lot of the stream. Have you ever, go to shows, say we've been at 3-day shows, whatever, Magna and stuff like that. They set up these tanks, instant, beautiful reef tanks. Bunch of fish in there, bunch of coral in there. Yeah, they add some bacteria to make that happen, because a lot of there's no bacteria. Might throw in some live rock, whatever. And at the show, yeah, it's only 3 days, 2-3 days, whatever. Don't you think that things are happening in that, spikes are happening or whatever? It depends, on what was done. You don't have to really, it's management. It's trying to understand, it's having patience on another level or on another scale, meaning, okay, I can load up an aquarium full of corals. The effects of corals is not going to be the effects if I did all fish, throwing in with just live rock into a bunch of fish in and doing a fish cycle with no added bacteria or anything like that. There are products out there now that just makes this stuff even just, with fish and coral. Coral tanks, like I said, is a different ball game. You can have an instant reef tank and put a lot in and do just fine. And then slowly introduce fish or put a couple little teeny small fish that's actually producing ammonia and actually help feed the nitrogen cycle. People don't realize that the nitrogen cycle never stops. It's always there. It just becomes undetectable. Nitrite and ammonia, becomes undetectable. But I think people think that when the nitrogen cycle ends, that means it does not exist. And you're really wrong on that. It's a cycle that continues on, and everything feeds on everything. Bacteria need other food sources to feed and continue to do its job. As the bioload grows, it needs to be able to grow. That's where you get into adding things slowly to the aquarium to allow things to catch up, to compensate for the extra that you added. It's one thing to bring one baby home, right, to feed one baby. It's another thing to bring triplets home and trying to feed 3 babies at one time. Don't you feel so bad for pigs and dogs that have all these multiple children? It's easier to do for one than it is for multiple sources, right? But yeah, how many of you guys believe that you cannot, or you have to wait? And I'll ask this for you guys that's in the chat. How many of you guys believe that you really have to wait to have a reef tank, or you need to wait 6 months, year, whatever the case may be? Paul says, I have been using spirit balls for bio balls and a sump as well. I've heard you should change out bio balls every 6 months. That makes no sense. But that makes he says it too. Yeah, that makes no sense. I don't know who would say that or why you would need to change out your bio balls. Why would you need to do that? That's okay. So I guess we need to change out our rock work every 6 months. Like, that makes no sense at all. Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Flashkin, Sherry, Tina, everybody that's here. Hello. How long do you wait until adding an enemy? Well, I've added an enemy straight from the beginning as well. You guys seen that with the JBJ, but and I'm not talking about any kind of enemy. I'm, the high-end anemones, I was always told 6 months. Is that true? I didn't wait no 6 months, and I never waited 6 months to add. So I'm going to say, Sherry, the answer is false. That is not true. You do not have to wait 6 months to add an enemy. Same with clams. People said that about clams. You guys know that never happened with me, but it is what it is. Good morning, everyone. I test my water weekly after initial cycle, sometimes twice a week. If anything if everything stays in line, I'll add some softies. No hard corals yet. That's a little more complicated. And as far as that statement, I agree. As you heard me say, hold off on some of the SPS stuff. It is what it is. But you also have all seen me back in the day. I used to get shipments in and boxes of corals straight off the plane, straight from, the ocean, SPS, corals and all that, on a brand new system, raceway, full fresh, whatever, and add the corals directly to the new system. How do you do that, Rico? It's very easy. All those corals come with rocks attached to them. All those rocks are rocks straight from the ocean as well. Hey, what's going on, homegrown reefer? All those corals have rocks attached to them that are bringing lots of biodiversity into my aquarium, yes, and some pests and things that we don't want. But guess what? It never bothered me. And the corals do just fine. All right. You can't hit them with a bunch of light and all this other stuff, and they are a little sensitive because they are coming into an aquarium that is artificial from the ocean. So they're going to be more sensitive. They're going to be more fragile. It ain't like going to some other fellow reefer's house that's been fragging the same coral for the past couple years. And that coral is going to be a lot more hardier, obviously, than anything from the ocean, period. There's really not much fluctuations out there in the ocean versus a home aquarium. So, Paul, I do recommend placing the filter media in high flow bags every 6 months or so, taking every 6 months or so, taking some out of the tank and shaking them off in a bucket. Oh yeah, stuff like that. This is purely to reduce waste buildup. So yeah, but to throw them out and replace, no. But to do what Flash can say, like shake out biomedia or what to get detritus out, yeah, there's no problem with that. Most people don't ever do that with their live rock. They don't take their live rock and go shake it and get detritus out of it. I mean, I personally like to do the turkey basting thing. And you could probably do that down in your sump with your media or just pull it out and do that in the 5-gallon bucket and just kind of help break up and get the media, kind of click free of debris so it can actually work better, right? So I agree with Flashkin on that as well. Can you add more live rock to a cycle tank or will it kick off a mini cycle? What do you mean? Add more live rock? I don't think adding more live rock will cause any problems. That's to me personally. I have added live rock before to a tank that already was well established and whatever. Now, when it comes to dry rock and all this other stuff, I kind of add smaller pieces in the sump area of my system. and allow it to go ahead and, kind of become live down there and, cycle down there. Mini cycles. Here's the thing. I think we all have mini cycles regardless, whether you want to believe that or not. You're not testing. Once you have a nitrogen cycle in your aquarium, and like when you're setting up for the very first time, here's the thing. You continue to have a cycle, and you can call them mini cycles or whatever. You don't know unless you're testing for it. You're not going to see it unless you're testing for it. And something goes on in your tank, you can't say, oh, it's because I had a mini cycle. Well, the only way you're going to know that is if you actually retest your aquarium and you're looking for it. A lot of people say this, but how many people are saying this but actually know this for a fact and actually test for it? That's another question. To me, that's just a lot of people saying, throwing something out there and assuming that that's what happened. Just saying, when people are asking questions, you got to remember, we are basing it off of what someone says, and we all assuming or given maybe a scenario, this could be the reason. None of us actually know what it is, including the person, because if the person knew, then the person wouldn't be asking us. Does that make sense, right? So with that being said, to me, there's constantly cycles going on, and the nitrogen cycle never ends. It's always there. So you can consider that mini cycles, thousands of mini cycles all the time. It's part of the cycle, and it's a never ending cycle. If the cycle ends, then the aquarium ends. Yeah. I mean, there's things that, fish die in the aquarium. Well, don't you think that creates a spike or a cycle, a larger cycle? When you have a larger fish that dies, you didn't catch it, you didn't see it, you were on vacation, whatever, come back. Fish is picked clean, fish is gone. Might be some skeleton left of, whatever. And your system still does good. I mean, it's just one of those things. It does happen. It can happen, but the cycle never stops. And that's how I feel about it. I was maybe considering getting some live rock and curing it for about a month or so. Live rock, you mean a rock that is live but has some die off, curing it, letting it die off, whatever. I mean, the die off is just going to feed the live anyway. Yeah, you can do that. It's not a problem as well. Set up my first frag tank overnight. It worked, but my primary issue was coral starvation. A nitrogen source is required for photosynthesis. It's a fine line between throwing off balance and keeping alive. All right, you're welcome, Paul. Yes. Yeah, he says he set up a frag tank overnight, and it worked. It's going to work. But you got to understand that key thing that Flashkin said, there is a fine line. Is it impossible to do? No, far from impossible to do. I think there's a lot of people believe that you cannot do it, you should not do it, and you're just going to have lots of problems. Well, if anybody's going to have lots of problems, then the show should definitely have lots of problems. Well, Rico, it's only for a short period of time. It doesn't matter. You're throwing a lot of bioload at something that doesn't have the ability to process the bioload that's being thrown at it, right? Supposedly. So we got a little bit about bacteria. Throw some bacteria in it. Bacteria wants to feed. It's alive. Whatever. Boom. You start the cycle. Instant cycle bacteria. So what I'm saying is do you need bottle bacteria to start an aquarium? No, you don't. Does it help? Yes. You can use bottle bacteria and have an instant tank overnight as well. You can get live rock straight from the ocean, or a rock that's been around for quite some time. Lots of biodiversity. Put it in your aquarium. Let it sit in your tank. Add corals. You're good to go. Same thing, same scenario, same thing. I really would like to get to the bottom of a lot of this stuff and have people understand, even though some's not going to understand, right? That you can't do these things. People scare you out, and it's the blind leading the blind. And the master club, which I'm working really hard here, guys, to become, get my master's jacket and aquariums, and I need to get my PhD and my master's. I mean, right now I'm in transitions of PhD to master's, but I think I still got some more years of schooling. So we'll see how that works out for me. But yeah, you already know I'm getting ready to triple my system size, but I really want to use dry rock for the scape in the new tank. Well, you can do that. And you're going to do that, and you can plumb it into your same system that you already have, that the rock's been already cured. You can do that. And you can do that and be just fine. That's just me. Rotary escape in the new tank, but I'm worried about crashing the 220 when it starts running. Hey, if you're so worried about it, use a new tank, cycle the water, have a pump that's doing it smaller amounts into the same sump, into 300 or whatever the size that tank is, on its own pump, pumping water up and allowing it to overflow and trickle back into your existing 220. So basically all you're doing is cycling the water. Yes, you'll have rock in there. Give all that rock a good once over rinse of ROD water. Let it soak, rinse. If you're afraid, whatever something might be in it, just let it soak in some RODI water. Leach out whatever whatever. Pull that rock, set it up, do your aquascape however you want. Set a pump up that's going to feed that tank, even though it's all going into the same sump. Feed that tank, and fill it up first before it even hits your sump. Go ahead and mix your salt in the tank with that rock. Don't allow it go over to the overflow yet. Mix it up where you can do it. Add more water, and then let it trickle into the system. So basically what you're doing is allowing you to turn over your 220, giving it a water change. If you're that worried about it, that's what I would do. I would trickle water from the main one, letting it go into my sump area, which is brand new, fresh salt water. Therefore, it's adding fresh water, volume of water. It's not really doing a water change. It's just adding more water. But in return, you're going to start forcing cycled water into the new display as the fresh water is being pumped out and getting mixed into the whole system as a whole. Everything should be fine, man. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I don't think you're going to crash the system. I don't think the system's going to crash over because you added rock into a new tank. But yes, it's feeding off the same sump and blah, 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 blah. I think you're fine. If anything, it's just going to add the biodiversity of that water over into there. It's going to have its bioload. It's going to have bacteria. It's going to do all that. If you're that scared, you can add instant bacteria to the aquarium as well. Some more bacteria. You can feed the aquarium with bacteria. There's a bunch of different products out there you can do. So you got Brightwell out there. You got Fritz out there. Yep, I say Fritz. I have no problem, by the way, just so y'all know. I'm just saying my side. But there are products out there that you can use, if you're scared. But I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't bat an eye. If it was me, that's what I would do. But hey, I'm still in school. I'm still learning. So I'm trying to get my master's. I'm trying to get up there with everybody else, but can you do it? Can you, or should you wait? Is that the question? That's the question, right? That's the title of this video. Should you wait before adding corals? Should you wait? How long should you wait? I mean, what do you guys believe that you should wait? Do you guys believe that you can have an instant tank? Says, have you considered doing a podcast? I don't know anything about podcasts, Gabe. To be honest with you, people mentioned it before, but I don't know where to begin or how to do any of that. You know me. I'm old school, man. But I mean, I can. If people want to figure it out, I mean, I guess we can try to work on some. I don't want to overload myself though, neither. I want to make sure you guys, I've been on this road for quite some time, and I really want you guys to be able to get what you want to get from me, like as far as talks and stuff like that, and just speaking and talking and whatever. But I don't want to overload myself neither. But I have thought about it. People have said it to me before, man, why don't you do a podcast? And I mean, I don't know what the difference is. I don't, I never listen to a podcast. So, yeah, I have no idea. Let's see. Have you considered, yeah, he already asked that. I ain't scared. Hold on, Rico. A 5-degree swing could mess his stuff up. Well, insane reefer. I mean, there's a lot of things out here that can mess our stuff up, but that is probably never going to be one of those things. But once again, I'm still in school, so I have to check with my professors at Harvard on this and kind of, run, try to match apples and oranges, and I'll get back to you guys on that. But as a new student, as new to this hobby, I think that that's a big negative. But like I said, don't take my word on it because I'm very new and I'm learning just like you all. And, one day I like to be a professor. So, and teach at School of Hard Knocks, but of reefing. So, can your aquarium be successful instantly? Can it? Can your aquarium do just fine under brand new conditions? Don't worry, Rico. I'm actually a professor at Harvard. I have my master's. Oh, okay. Well, nice to meet. So, Professor Gabe, can you? Is it safe to say that you can have an instant tank? Like, can you set up an aquarium with dry rock and stuff and just add corals? Not so much the SPS, but a lot of your other corals, and allow your corals to basically cycle your aquarium for you. Just need some kind of validation on that. Do you know, as a professor, or do you need another colleague of yours to confirm or deny these allegations and claims? Yeah. So, as we're waiting, in all realness, in all realness. Oh, well, look. Yes, as soon as temp and salinity and major values are in order. Well, thank you, Professor Gabe. So you guys, you not just heard it from me, you heard it from a professor too. And that's exactly what you need to do and understand. And I'm glad that he said that, because I know people are going to want to do this, but the key thing is salinity, temperature, your values, that, fully mixed aquarium. You can start the tank day one. Now, Me, I will mix and set up a tank and give it about 24 hours. But if the salt's already pre-mixed in a container and everything, then I'll just add the water and go ahead and go on for that. Hey, we have a first morning super chat. Well, thank you, Carrie. Appreciate you, my man. We got our first morning super chat, everyone. And he's also a member as well. So thank you, Carrie. Appreciate you, my man. So yeah, you can, against everything anybody's ever said about you should do this, you should do that. What you could have, should have, would have is really do what you want to do and try to understand these things. Over under any stick survival, FedEx 5-day shipping, failure. Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to what you hear and whatever, here's the thing. 2021 is definitely just the year that I'm going all in. 2021. Did I say 2021? Okay, just making sure. I'm still having Tourette's from 2020, but okay. The reality is a lot of the things that people say you can't, you shouldn't, and all this other stuff is based off of what others said. It goes, and if you go against what's the majority of the master clubs, all the masters, if you go against that, you create world war. You know what I mean? World War II, 3, should I say? When it comes to reef aquariums. All right. Anyway, it goes against everything they were told, their fathers were told, their fathers' fathers, their fathers' fathers, and their fathers' fathers were told. Okay. One person sets the tone. Urban myths become reality, becomes the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. An adult is cut and dry. It is the truth. This is how it should be, period, point blank. The blind lead the blind in the industry. Yeah, that's what happens. If you're not with us, you are against us. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's how this goes. So if you're not with me, you're against me. Yeah, if that makes sense. But it does. That's how it works. So a lot of information that you have been told to over the years and time and whatever, a lot of you guys believe what others say. I say, don't do what I do. You guys hear me say that all the time. Don't do what I do. And I say a lot of times I say that because it's like, I'm not here to tell you what you need to do. I'm here to just talk to you and share love and passion for the hobby. What you choose to do is what you choose to do. And based on what you do is going to be your learning for the day. And as long as you're in this hobby, and every day you're messing with your aquarium, you're learning something. You might feel that you're not, but you're learning something. You're looking at something in a way you never looked at it before. It doesn't click while you're looking at it. Maybe you think something's off or it's just not right. You're fine tuning your senses on your aquarium. You just don't get it yet. And that's fine. That's part of growing and becoming better at this. And in time, you'll get it. A lot of us can look across the room and look at people's aquarium and be like, oh, they got aggravating flatworms, or they got a lot of flatworms that's bothering their softies and, stuff like that, or whatever. Or they got some kind of red bug, black bug, they got some kind of pest going on or whatever. I mean, you can a lot of times see that when you've been doing this for quite some time. But interesting question, interesting SPS question. How long do the based of acros get? I'm considering using frag discs. Those the base corals can base out really wide before they go up. It's on the coral. So this for the new display. So colonies are removable on for fragging. The best thing I can tell you is I've seen discs that are 4 inches, 5 inches, fully covered. Corals can base out really big, and they can do that because if they feel that there's nothing around them, they can really take up some prime real estate and take up as much space to give themselves proper room. They claim a territory. Think about it. They just claim a territory. They can sense other corals. So depending on how much space you let, I feel how much space you put in between each coral is going to determine the base. There are some corals that will grow and they'll go boop and stop. They know each other's there. They don't really cross or touch each other. Some don't mind. I guess the aroma of the scent is okay. It says it's okay. Well, we'll just entangle and do all this West Virginia thing. No offense, anybody, inside joke. But yeah, it just really depends. There's no actual, this is only going to base out at 2 inches and this is going to base out at 6. There's nothing in the books. Let me double check. Hold on. Let me double check my classroom book here. Yeah, page right here. Yeah, no known amount of basing has been determined, or yeah, basically it's just saying in layman's terms that there's no scientific proof that certain corals base out only 1 inch and certain base out at 5. They're using very big words here. I can't pronounce, like supercalifragilistic or espialidocious type words that I can't even spell. So yeah, there's nothing there that otherwise. Okay, so yeah, sorry. I wish I could help you a little bit more on that, but I can't. Interesting. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I could, my professor, the professor's still in here. Professor, I'm looking in my handbook, in my manual, on this certain subject. Is there anything that you can help us on when it comes to that? Greatly appreciate you. Yeah. Telemarketers, man. Anyway. But yeah, so I'll see if the professor's still in here and we can figure this out together. But yeah, no flash can. I mean, the bigger the disc, depending on how much space real estate you want to go up. If you want to do square disc, so you still have that, you can try to fit as much in as you can and do like 4-inch square disc or something, or 4-inch. The bigger the disc, the better it is. Not to be funny, 5-inch disc I would probably do. Because yeah, I think, right dead smack, give yourself, plenty of room, and then whatever. Yeah, Gabe's slacking. I don't, Professor Gabe, I don't understand, I don't know where he goes, he's either in or he's out. He's probably, too busy playing with his little friend. Get those extra degrees. But anyway, no. So how do you guys feel about this topic? Now, on a real note, we got about 15 minutes left, and I really want to try to keep these topics serious and professional as possible, whatever that word means. But yeah, how do you guys feel about these topics? To be honest, or this certain topic, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about it? What do you think about it? Do you believe it? You don't believe it? Whatever the case may be, it's fine. If you don't, do you mind doing more research on it? You know what I mean? It's one of those things. Can you go look for yourself, try to figure it out, do some research and just do what you got to do. Figure it out. But the reality is, I'm tired of seeing people get ridiculed. Oh, you're doing it too fast. You're doing this and you're doing it wrong. And, it's all wrong and shame on you. And where these people come from, I have no idea. And I'm just being honest. Shame on them for trying to shame somebody for living their best life. A person is never going to know how to reef or do a reef tank if they're not willing to do things on their own for themselves and learn from their mistakes. We don't need people ridiculing others for maybe making a poor decision, but in the same breath, are they? Is it a poor decision because one says it's a poor decision? What I mean is, one said is these masters, out here, they got their coats, their master coats on, and, are the world. These same ones that never have a business card, the same ones that's not willing to share anything about themselves or their aquariums, usually, just saying, gets a lot to say, have a lot to say about somebody else. You have to learn for yourself as well. You can't have somebody constantly hold your hand and guide you on a path that they themselves are not there with you, including me. I'm not there with you. You can ask all the questions in the world. We can sit here and match apples and oranges. We can talk about problems. We can try to problem solve. But ultimately, I'm not with you. I'm not around you 24/7. I don't even know where the hell you live. I know nothing about you. I only base everything off of what you tell me. And what you tell me is not the whole truth. And I don't mean that is like somebody's lying to me. No, you forgot X, Y, and Z that you did to your tank like 5 days prior because you never jotted it down. You don't have a book to go back and say, well, I did this, Rico, and I did do this, and on this date I did this. To help even, help the process of trying to figure stuff out. It's not a deliberate lie. It's just you just don't remember every detail that you've done. And this is why you have these problems. Therefore, it's called problem solving. We're going to try to figure it out. Ultimately, there's a lot of things that was left out, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. You might be sent on the wrong mission and trying to figure out because of what you said, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Good morning. We need more reef leaders. We don't need more reef masters. We need more real professors, the professors of realness. I'm trying to work on my business card. Very true, Brock said. Yeah. People just think they know more than everyone. The reality is it's there are some of us know a little bit more than the next person. Okay, but does that mean that you are a master? Um, mm, yeah, I mean, there's a lot that I can talk about. Too many copycats. Be original. Yeah, be. That's a hell of a word for the day. Can we do hashtag be original? Hashtag be original. Yeah, that's what we need. We need more originality. Um, but it's true. There's a lot of copycats. There's a lot of whatever. There's a lot of things that you know. It's really a shame that people whatever. It is what it is. You know, we you know. I can't control anybody else's channel. I can't control what anybody else says or does. But what I can do is copying success is not a bad thing. Good point. Good point. Pollock Pusher says copying success is not a bad thing. No, we're not saying that. But yeah, hashtag be original though. You know, copying, like there's people that have done a lot of things that I've done. But it wasn't every aspect of what I've done. They didn't like copy every aspect. And at the end of the day, everybody has their own somewhat beliefs and entitled to that. I have conversations with other reefers on the phone, and they look at things one way. I look at things one way. I'll look at Tom's rode bikes. Tom's riding or whatever. You know, Tom got a bike, right? I feel certain about one way or this or that. I don't agree. You know, if he, for whatever reason, he did, you know, went left instead of going right. At the end of the day, that man's his own man, right? At the end of the day, if he feels himself that this is what's best for him, who am I to tell him otherwise? So am I going to fight with him about that and not be friends over how he feels about himself and how I think he should feel? Like that's retarded. But you got people out here that will be like that. You know, and it's cool because, you know, it's not cool. But like for me, like I will voice myself. He's going to say what he's going to say. I voice myself. And it's a friendly, like, and and that's all it is. You know, it's like, oh man, you know, like these people do on social media, man. You can't, like on social media, you can't say or go against the grain without somebody really butthurt, man. People get really butthurt. I don't understand that part. I don't. I don't. Now, those that, you know, have, what is it, pit needle, cat, you know, try to jab and poke me to do exactly, make it seem like that's what I do. You know, those are just trolls. I'm not, you know, and, you know, they try to always make me look bad, but it is what it is. A lot of people are successful and newbies look up to them to try and be successful, but have no idea what they're talking about because of terminology. Yes, Pollock Pusher. Okay, correct. I would have to concur with you on that. That's a true statement, as far as I'm concerned. In my world, let's just put it like that. Let me quote that and put it in my bubble. Hold on, it's in my bubble. Okay, but yeah, I'm just a rookie. At the beginning of the day, watch all channels. I make changes when my tank numbers tell me, and that's what you're supposed to do. And you're supposed to watch whatever hell you want to watch too, by the way. XJet. Like, you pay your internet bill. It's your computer. It's your click of the mouse. Whatever you want to do. I agree with you on that. You know, do what you do, what you feel is best for you at the end of the day. And listen who you want to listen to. And ultimately, you make the final decision. Nobody else did that for you. So, Let's talk about reefing. I have a question. We have been talking about reefing. Where is that coming from? Yeah. Did I miss something? What did I miss? I've been here for 55 minutes and 11 seconds from the beginning to end, have been talking about reefing and only reefing. Straight on topic, by the way. But okay. These channels are guides. For 2 years, I've been tuning in for ideas to personalize my system with. Thanks for the content, bro. Hey, Antonio, thank you for being a supporter for the past 2 years. Now, if I could see you make some comments, then I at least would have known who you are or seen you before. But yes, appreciate you for watching me for the past 2 years. Realness is what everyone needs. I've only been trying to push realness, and it is what it is. If you're not with them, you're against them, and the zombies come out, the trolls come out. They want everybody to conform to the way they want it. They should do things, or they think things should be done, including companies think that same way. There's a lot of companies that think, this is not the way we should be doing things, and this is not appropriate or whatever. Who are you to say what's appropriate and not appropriate? Everybody has been molded into living life in a certain way, which is very crazy to me because I've always been my own man, no matter what it is. There's laws, there's God's laws, there's man laws. Man laws are just man laws. It's another man trying to tell another man what to do. Okay, don't get it twisted. There should be some rules and regulations. Trust and believe that. Couldn't imagine the world without any. A lot of people wouldn't be here. The reality is, to a certain degree, okay. People need to be way more transparent than what they are, and they're not going to. Other people conform people into what they want them to do. That's just the reality of that. As soon as people stop looking with blinders on in life, doing this, and open themselves up to see the real world for what, be a lot more better living for people. I think most people are so complacent. They go to work. They have a schedule. They go to work. They go home. They do the same routine. How many people do the exact same routine day in and day out? You go to work. You come home. You make food. You do stuff for your kids. Homework, chores, washer. Put them to bed. Throw a load of clothes in. Maybe not make sweet lovins with your significant other. Snore, do the same thing over and over and over. It's a weekend. We might get to go somewhere, go out to dinner. Maybe you don't have time really for anything else, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing, right? We need to live a little bit more and become more open-minded about what's real and what's not, and what's BS or what's being smoke blown up our butt. I'm definitely all about that. I think there should be more realnesses. I think I should have said that like 5 minutes ago, but I'm sorry, I kind of got off track. But the reality is, for sure, there should be more realness out here in the hobby. They can be if you're willing to not be bullied, and you're willing to stand your ground and say what's on your mind, and don't worry about what somebody else got to say. So anyway, moving on real quick, we have exactly 40 seconds left of this live stream. I can do another one if you guys want me to. You can let me know right now, but I want to finish this topic and then I can start a new one. Sorry, just got here. Snow blowing the driveway. It's all good, man. Short supply on replacement filters, rollers have left me using Chaeto for filter floss. So far, it's been going very well. Um, have you seen this anywhere else, or has anyone else done this? Use Cheeto. Is that what we're saying? Cheeto. As far as nutrient exporting, filter floss is just to catch particulates in the water so they don't get broken down for Chaeto and corals to utilize them as a food source. So I see people do both, but yeah. So anyway, are you going to face off on a build again that had potential? CJ is no longer with us on YouTube when it comes to aquariums. Strike Systems is partially based on Chaeto for mechanical. So, all right, guys. I am glad that we talked about this. This is going to be up and for you all to watch. But yeah, so short of whatever, short of what you may have believed about instant tank, you can do it. If you have any questions about it, or other topics that can be like a part 2 or part 3 to this, you can leave it in the comments section down below of this video. With that being said, thank you all for coming in, and I will see you all shortly. Don't forget to go get all your aquarium needs from saltwateraquarium.com. Catch you guys later.